Hey there, good people. How's everybody doing? Music lovers, clock collectors, and fine arts enthusiasts. Here's to you. Had a big birthday today. I'm 10 in dog years, man. That's all I can tell you. The wife and I, we were out shopping today. We went out to an antique shop up in Niles, Michigan. It's called Picker's Paradise, and found this little baby right here. This is an Ingraham, early 1900s. Now look at this. Somebody that had this clock found some white paint in their garage and an old brush, and here's what we got. Look, going on. I paid about 20 bucks for this clock. Like I said, I bought it at Picker's Paradise, and this clock right here will be number 7. I bought 7 clocks from those people before, and was never disappointed. But this one here, it's gonna need some loving. The hardware, these 2 parts are missing. I'm gonna go ahead and get those parts that are on order, believe me. Old Ingraham. Got to get this white paint off of here for one thing. Got to get the white paint off the hardware, the feet. And around here, they just slapped it on. And here, this would have been painted with fall marble right here. This part here and this part here. This part here would have been like a what do they call it? Pewter, like a pewter color right here. These parts right here. So would this have been brass or pewter color. So also flip this clock around. It's got the door in the back. At least the clock is pretty much complete. Let me get a screwdriver on the job here. This might work. Let's get this one out. Get this one out. This clock's got a broken spring. See if we can get the back off real quick, lickety split. It's got all the right doggone screws on it. That part I like about it. It's even got a partial label here. I don't even know what kind of clock this is. Model. I know it's an Ingraham. And when I get further along, the date will be on the front of the movement. Also, in other videos I've talked about this, and this clock is no exception. Let me get the old magnifying glass out here and see what I can see. I don't know if you can read this or not, or see these marks here. People have, through the years, serviced this clock, and they that's got a name right there. Threshler on the clock. Let's see what else we can find here. Here's a repairman's mark right here. December of 01. Now I don't know if that means 1901 or 2001. Could mean 2001. I don't think this is this clock is older than 1901, but I might be wrong. And here's another mark here. It was serviced in 1934. Right here it says. I can see the 34 on there and some initials. No, I take that back. It says 32, 3 of 32. I can see better without the magnifying glass. I think this thresher and this date looks like 332. So I know it's that old, 332. It's older than that. Here's another initial right here. So the clock through the years, whoever had it was getting the service. That's kind of interesting. I got one clock that has, way back in 1867, it's got the guy's name and the service. But anyway, you can see this on the strike side right there. Spring's broke. I've got another spring. I may be able to repair this spring, I don't know, but at least I've got another spring, and we're going to go ahead and take this movement out. First thing we're going to do is repair this spring right here. I'm going to sneak this spring into this movement without taking the movement apart. At first glance here, I really don't see anything wrong with the movement, but we'll see. This bezel and everything needs some loving too. This is pretty dull. One thing I am glad they didn't have any gold paint in the garage. They just had a can of white. I started oh, I got to show you this. I started kind of scrubbing on this a little bit with denatured alcohol, and in 1 second I got it back down to the black right there. Do you see that? Can you see that? So this paint may come off pretty easy. But let's go ahead and pull the bezel off real quick. And let me find my curled up, it's my favorite doggone needle nose right here for the hands here. Just going on. Take this roll of tape right here, put my 4 screws from the back right there. Take my nut, don't lose these nuts. Right there. The hand. There. Our hand. Right there. This clock is a mess. People, you collect clocks, don't paint your clock like this. Don't spray gold paint on the hardware. Don't do none of that. It's foolish. Let the thing alone, man. You know? It's kind of like getting an Irish setter and dyeing it blonde. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's all crazy. Well, this is in pretty fair shape. I thought something was wrong with it at first, but there isn't. It's bent a little bit right here. This may need a little bit of glue right there. It's kind of coming apart. A little super glue action on that. It's kind of ripped right there. We'll have to deal with that. I don't know. All right, let's flip it around. Let's take that movement out. Stand back's got a broken spring, so. All the screws look like they've never been out of here. I mean, it's not been abused inside the clock. Anyway, I think the damage with the white paint has probably happened a little later in this clock's life. And all of a sudden the spring broke and it got put to the side. Oh, I found one thing wrong with it already. The doggone flywheel needs some attention. That would just spin willy-nilly. I'll show you that in a sec here. That may happen when the spring broke. Who knows, you know? Poor old thing.
Hope you enjoyed that little ditty. Talk to you next time. Bye now.
Got to get a skinnier screwdriver on the job here because the doggone spring is in the way. It's all broken and everything. Oh man, this might take off flying. I don't know. Okay, let's see what we got here. Come to Papa. Come to Papa. Alright, as you can see, the spring is pretty broke. I got another spring kicking around. I'm not going to try to do anything with this spring. I thought maybe I could do some improvisation or whatever, but And also, this is loose right here. It's bent up. I don't know what happened. We'll fix that up. I'll clean this up. What I'll do is rebend this, get it as tight as I can, make sure it's not hitting on anything. Then I'll just put a little tab of super glue on that, and it'll be just dandy. Okay, let's take a look and see what year this thing is. This clock was made in December of 1906. It says right here. Ingrams are good for that. A lot of times you'll find also, you'll look at the suspension spring on an Ingram when it's been kicked around half its life, and the suspension spring will be hanging on the wrong hanger. This one seems to be right. Let's see if this thing will, in its condition, would it have run. That's pretty dirty. The time side is wound. Yeah, it's going to turn. It's turning on its own. Turning on its own, so we got to deal with this right here. We're going to sneak that spring in right there. Hey, don't go away. It's going to get exciting. Go to the kitchen, get you something to drink. Come right back. I'm not drinking coffee because it's getting on about, it's going on 11 o'clock at night. I was going to leave this till the morning, but man, I was chomping in the bed. I had to get down here and work on this thing. Look at that. Ain't she a beaut? We're going to take this spring and put it in that clock. This is something that came out of an old movement that wasn't any good, I think. And we're going to try to sneak her in there. Don't put it in backwards. That's stupid. Let's get rid of this clock case here first. Sit it over here. My God. It's the worst magnifying glass I've ever had. It's almost like a microscope. It's too. Here's the key that came with it. I got my doubts about that key though. It's kind of big. Yeah, let's see what we got going on. We're gonna sneak that damn thing out of there, believe it or not. Good Lord. Yeah, you know what? Let's start right off by finding another key for this thing, because this thing is sloppy. I had a clock in the other day. Key was too big for it. This is the key that came to the other clock. This is the key that came to with this Ingram. This one came with an old Waterbury that I bought the other day. And I bet you this is going to be nice. Look at that. Look at tighter than a mouse's ear right there. See that? Looks like somebody's tried to make this work. Take a look at this thing. Make sure I know what the heck I'm doing. Okay, and we're going to take that nut off. We're going to loosen this nut. Now we don't want, somebody's already loosened that nut. Look at that. Somebody's already probably tried this. Okay. All right. Let's see. Put this facing the right way for God. Lord have mercy here. It's gonna go in there like that. I'm gonna slip that in there. That like that. Now this isn't what I'm going to do here isn't for the squeamish, so you more sensitive viewers, turn it off now. Look at the roots on that thing, man. Look at that. All right. Here we go. It's going to start to fly. Watch out, man. Take an eye right out. Got to kind of keep your hand like this so it don't knock out any parts off the clock. That would be bad. So I wonder how these springs last so long. I mean, this clock is from 1906 and this is 2023, you know? Come on. Treat me like Elvis. I know there's a way to do this without being a crazy man, but here we are. Success on that end. Okay. Now we're going to take this nice fresh spring and we're going to wish it back into that. All right. But we don't want to put it in bass backwards. Turn it into a sessions clock. You know what I mean? Okay. It's going to go this way. Before you use put a spring in, you got to kind of look at this one, make sure. Yeah, that's going to work. And it does go this way, right? Yeah, opposite. See, Sessions, Waterbury, some of those other clocks, they the springs are counterclockwise, I guess you'd say. Not a clock repairman, I'm an auto glass installer. I told you that. And you know, when you got 11 stops on your van and you got a whole route ahead of you in one day, there's things you gotta do. Okay, I'm coming along with that. I don't recommend putting the spring on this, putting the spring in the movement this way, but as you can see, this is the new spring. Now what I'm going to do is wind it here. Everything is put back in place. Then I'm going to put the loop back here on this and put the two nuts in that I took off, and should be good. Then I'm going to take this movement up, take it upstairs, wash it, clean the dirt and stuff off of it, because this is pretty dirty. It's greasy. And bring it by, and while that's soaking in my solution, I'm gonna see if I can get take the case apart and see if I can't get the white paint off of there. So let me see what I can do with this thing. Alright, also I had to turn this off because I was just getting frustrated putting this in. But this spring, stretched it out, I wrapped it around myself, and then I got it, then I was able to just take this end here and get it in there with some needle nose pliers. So anyways, see, it's going to wind right up in there, hopefully. Kind of keep my hand on it a little bit. I'm not going to wind it up all the way because it'll just flop around, you know, unwind itself. There you go. It's got to catch first. Okay. Got to work on that thing, getting it to catch. But anyway, let's take this. And hopefully we got it facing the right way. That would be a plus. No, for 28 bucks, what do you got to lose, you know? I don't restore them. I'm not a clock repairman. This clock will run 5 when I get it done. Okay, a couple of things I did to the movement since I've started working on it is this flywheel right here was all bent up. So I bent it back the best I could, where it's not hitting anything and it's working. Okay, then I tacked a little super glue here and here in 3 places. Let that dry so it will not slip. Then this wheel right here was bent. I straightened this wheel out. Then this counter right here, let's see if it works. This counter right here was also bent, and it wasn't going into the slot and stopping the clock on the right time, on the right strike. So let's see if I did anything there. Here it comes, the big moment. Oh, look at that. Phew, just like downtown. Well, I'm going to run this upstairs, and the next thing I'm going to do is work on that case and see what we can do with that. First of all, we got to take it apart. this would have had a fall marble painting, and it might be able to revive that. I don't know. Let's find something. Here's a screwdriver. To save the nails. Boy, I wish they wouldn't have did this. Well, there's that. Let's just set these off to the side. Oh Lord. Got to get the major tools out now. Big old Blitz knife. Cut away at this stinking ass white paint they got here. Alright. Equalizer tool. What do we do with that? Alrighty. There we go. Beautiful. No damage, no damage. That's what you want. Pretty hefty pieces of hardware. Somebody had painted this gold, or that was the original back then, the gold. Now to get this piece off here, use the equalizer tool, start it, pop it off, and don't mess around. Pretty plain hardware right there. Pretty plain molding. Right, for right now I'm going to leave that on there. Let's get the other side off. I got all the hardware off of there. I'm going to try to clean this up. And it was some nice stuff before somebody slapped some white paint on it. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I showed you this, I started kind of wiping this with some steel wool and a little denatured alcohol. And this stuff may just come off of there. I'm not sure what kind of paint that was, but I'm going to give it a good college try and try to get that back down to the black. Also, I don't know what's under this. This might have a faux marble finish to it. We'll just find out and see. Okay, we're finally getting down to the true colors of this clock here. Like I said, this part here had the faux marble. You can see that's pretty well preserved. I thought these side pieces would have had it too, but they must have been black and had some little designs in there that were probably white or silver or something like that. There's some little pin designs in here too, and I started cleaning some of the hardware up, but yeah, it's going to be a black clock when I get done with it. Hopefully I won't have to repaint too much of it. I'm just going to buff it out once I get that white paint off of there. And let's see, I did, let's see, got this cleaned up. Got the paint off of it. You know, a lot of people, they when this tarnishes, they'll get the old gold paint from the Ace Hardware, and they'll mask this off and paint it gold. When I don't know why they do that. As you can see, that's brass, and it always cleans up fairly well. Okay, I got most of that white paint cleaned off of there. I used some alcohol and fine steel wool and a little elbow grease and my plastic stick, and worked, and I got those faux marble pieces exposed, and they don't look too bad. And I'll finish this up tomorrow, probably. Let the wife go to work, and I'll get up early in the morning, have my coffee, and come down here and put this back together. All right, I got this clock pretty much cleaned up. That was the old white Ingraham I brought home from the antique shop. Also, I've got the hardware cleaned up. I think I'm going to take these And I've got these cleaned up, but I think I'm going to recreate the fall marble on these. And but anyway, the hardware cleaned up, the feet and everything cleaned up pretty nice. That was all white paint. It wasn't hard to get that off of there. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the columns and go ahead and put the clock back together. Got the bezel and everything cleaned up pretty well. Fixed that little tear in the bezel there and polished it up. This clock, I came down last night and installed the lubricated the movement and everything, and I went through the movement, found out there was a few things wrong with the movement. Number one, the bell was missing on the back. On Ingraham, it strikes on a gong inside the on the hour, and then it strikes a bell on the half hour, and the bell was missing, but I had a bell, so I got the bell on. And also, it wasn't striking properly. The counter wheel, the thing was bent there that falls into the slots on the counter wheel. That was bent. And then the hammer that strikes the gong was bent internally inside the movement, and it wasn't the wheel wasn't picking it up and hammering it down on the and striking it on the gong. So I had to fix that. This movement was stiff as a board, so I took the crutch off and let that thing spin and unwind the spring, and I let that do that for a while, and then I put this crutch actually was too close to the wheel, so I took a screwdriver and I pushed a little bracket down a little bit and found the pendulum, Ingraham pendulum, put that in there, and that thing has been running like that all night. Beats just fine and everything. I don't know how good a time it's going to keep. We'll find that out when we get it back together, but so far that's what we got right there. And believe it or not, that's the same paint that was underneath that white paint right there. Okay, I'm all done with the old Ingraham clock. That's the best I can get it. Started out an old white clock. Somebody found a can of paint in their garage and a paintbrush, and they thought they were restoring a clock. Well, this is what I came up with. I did not paint this clock. This was what was underneath the white. The only thing I did was touch a few spots up with a paintbrush here and there, little nicks and things like that. And then I shined it up a little bit and put some pledge on it and put it back together. And you can see the hardware's nice and everything. The only thing that's missing on this clock right now is the two side ornaments that go on they're probably lions. I've got some ordered and I'm going to put those on at a later date. But as far as the clock being done, it's running good. I got you can hear it running. It's a strong runner. Got the gong working. Yeah, let's see, I think it's about 11:45 around here. Bell's working. It does not ring, strike, and half hour on exactly on the 12 and 6. But let's put it up to 11:45. I think that's what it is now. And there you have it. All right, thanks for watching this.